Hello, my name is Thomas. Welcome to British Culture. Albion Never Dies. The story that's been dominating the UK newspapers is Philip Schofield, a popular TV presenter who has been now suddenly mired in scandal. And at lunchtime I got a call from Pete Brooker who said, "You got to cover this. This is such a British scandal." And so he just rang me. I put him on speakerphone. I think it's clear enough. And of course, all his opinions are his own. You can contact him at From Tailors of Love, and all my opinions are my own. You can email me at albionneverdies@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at Fleming Never Dies. He has a competition over on his page as well, so do go over there and check it out. This is a discussion about adult themes. There is some adult language as well. For the first time ever on this show, this is a special edition looking at sex, snobbery, and Schofield. Okay, Pete, thank you very much for joining me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so thrilled to be on your podcast, Thomas. How are we doing?
We're doing good. And there's been some interesting stuff in the news lately, hasn't there?
I'm actually on the road right now, so I've been on the road for probably the best couple... Oh, fuck, what's that? Oh, what's that now? Sorry. So, yeah, I've been listening to a lot of news, right? Ordinarily, I'd probably put a little bit of music in the car, or I'd listen to football, but the football season's over, and so there's been a lot of attention around one news story in particular, which is Philip Schofield. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, Thomas, before we crack them out on this, I think an interesting question would be, where do you source your news? Right? Because when I asked you, I phoned you up just around about lunchtime today, I said, we have to talk about Philip Schofield on your podcast, and you're like, well, what's going on with Philip Schofield? Which completely bamboozled me, because that's the only headlines going on in my news. So I guess, it depends what news channel you read, listen to, how do you digest your news? So which ones do you listen to?
Okay, first and foremost, I'll probably go off the BBC, but I will also tend to binge news and then have a detox from news. So I might be listening to no news at all and just get things through joke websites. So I'll see a joke about something, and then I'll have to do my research.
Right, okay. So, I try and get a balanced view when it comes to the news. So I'll listen to Fox News, but then I'll ask for CNN News, and then BBC News, and then GB News, and then whatever's free, basically. So in London you have the Metro, you have the Evening Standard. But let me tell you, across every channel, alright, maybe not America, but it is ubiquitous that everyone is talking and obsessed with the Philip Schofield story. Now, if you'll indulge me, for your international listeners that have no clue who Philip Schofield is, he is an establishment here in the UK. He's been running this morning program, which is a morning kind of fanzine, e-zine show with Holly Willoughby, this very attractive blonde girl. Philip Schofield's about 60, and in the last couple of years, they've really hit the headlines, right?
Yeah.
Now, Philip Schofield in the last few years has come out as gay, right? Which was big news for him, and I guess for everyone. Like, Philip Schofield's gay. It's like, all right, great, got that out of the way. Then, a couple of months later, him and Holly Willoughby get seen jumping the queue at the Queen's funeral.
Yes.
You see this one?
Yes, I mean, that really gets the British. I mean, queue jumping is it. Wars in other parts of the world are one thing, but queue jumping here, and combined with royalty as well, that was a super British story.
Yeah, and he, basically said, oh, we didn't queue jump, we just took a left when we should have taken a right, think when we zagged, whatever it was. But they were pilloried here in the UK. So headline, I'm gay, queue jumper, he's a queue jumper now. And then his brother gets convicted for being a paedophile.
Yeah.
Just a couple of months ago. Right?
Yeah.
He's now, his ass is in jail. Right? So it's kind of Phil's here, his name is Mud, basically, at this point, because there's just too many bad headlines, one after the other. Now, it's come out that he has been being a young professional within the workplace. So, yeah, I think he was about 15 when he met him, and then when they had a relationship, then obviously he was of a legal age. That's what Philip Schofield was saying. But Philip Schofield has now been shit-canned from his job, right?
Yeah.
And he is, he's public enemy number one.
Yeah.
No, he is basically, he's done. His career's finished. And he's been coming out and he's been doing these interviews where he's like, look, all I can see is blackness ahead of me. The only reason why I'm alive right now is my daughters are putting me through this. I'm not eating, all I'm drinking is Southern Comfort. And what I said to you off mic was, what a bad advert, Southern Comfort. Like, drag our name through the mud. Jesus H. Christ. So it's just, but it has caught fire here.
It has.
Mainly I would say for a few reasons. He is an establishment, been on the TV for like 40 years. I remember growing up, I'm like mid-40s now, and I would grow up and put him on the telly and do kids TV, Gordon the Gopher, so he was like...
Exactly.
This was like, people of my age have grown up with this.
Yeah, I hear the name Philip Schofield and I still think Gordon the Gopher, and whatever scandal's going on, I'm just like, what does Gordon the Gopher think of this?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the gag. That's the gag. What would Gordon Gopher say about this? So, for him to have this career where it's just been solid, right? I mean, he is like one of the best live TV presenters.
Yeah.
His gig is live television. It's not just like, I recorded a quiz show and here it is. It's, there's no one better in the moment than Philip Schofield when he's interviewing, right?
Yeah.
And now, he's kind of on the back end of this. He's the one that's having to answer the questions.
Yeah, it's been like a 40-year spotless career, and then suddenly everything's in the headlines.
Right, okay. So, couple of thoughts. Now, Philip Schofield is 60-odd, but he turned grey around about 40 years old.
Yeah.
So, and he's not like just got a little bit of grey. He's gone silver, he's pretty much white hair.
Yeah.
Right? I think when you have grey or white hair at that age, that kind of buys you at least a couple of decades, right? I mean, Philip's he's still looking like he could be 40.
Oh, yeah.
Like with half an eye. Right? So he's not like a 60-year-old that's kind of lecherous. He's not a Weinstein 60.
No. He's
Snobbery and...
He's kind of Peter Pan-like, right?
He's like in shape. Right, so he's got these kind of childish looks going on. And so then you put that next to like a guy who's 20, who he has been banging. And then all of a sudden you think, well, where's the problem? There's no problem, really. I mean, there's no problem that he's 60 and he's banging a 20-year-old. That's perfectly legal. What people have an issue with is he's got too popular and he's got too big, and now we can start peeling it away. I think it's more of a British thing, is where we like to raise them up, we like to get to the top of the mountain, but we like nothing more than pulling the rug from out of their feet and just seeing them fucking smash face plant to the pavement. What are your thoughts on so that's one thought, but what are your thoughts on that we as a culture, maybe as a British thing, we love to build them up, but only to bring them down?
Oh, yeah, and it's very rare that they seem to go past that stage. It does seem to be a British thing that we can't have them too perfect.
Yeah. But what is that? Like, why can't we just go, look, we love this guy, he's a monument, he's establishment, this guy's an institution, he's been everywhere, and he's done a good job. He's just banged a 20-year-old, and now it's all right, let's hate this guy for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I don't get that. So that's one thought that I had. Another thought I had was, I think that this is mainly a chick thing.
Okay.
Far too much emotion is being attached to a potentially non-news story here, right? Let me explain. I tried to Google earlier what's the demographic of This Morning? What is the viewership? Is it like 75% women, 25% blokes? Couldn't find out. But I did find out that chicks watch at least half an hour more TV a day, right?
Okay.
than guys. So by that rationale, you'd think that there's more chicks watching this morning television than there is guys. And I think that this is women kind of piling on emotion, unnecessary outrage. I think if you spoke to the average guy in the street, he would not give a fuck. He would not give a shit. What it is, you'll see like the TV presenters have replaced Philip and Holly, who's on holiday. She's coming back on Monday apparently. Are Alison Hammond and Dermot O'Leary, two solid stalwarts, straight in front of the camera. You listen to Alison Hammond talk today, it's all feeling, it's all tears. I love Philip, oh, but I still love Philip. And it's just like, she goes, I don't know how to feel. I don't know. And I'm like, bitch, there is no story here. That's what you don't know to feel, because you're getting wound up attaching non-emotions to a non-story. O'Leary's in the background going, I really can't fucking wait for the football season to begin, so I don't have to deal with this shit. So that's theory number 2. What say you? Do you think that this is more of a chick thing, where they're putting way too much emphasis on feeling rather than what are the facts here? Nothing was illegal, and nothing really has done anything wrong. I don't think it's done that much wrong.
Well, one piece of evidence that this morning is female kind of driven is that, you know, this wasn't a big thing when I left the UK for China. It became rarely big when I was in China, and that's, you know, it's very easy to be removed, and the way I discovered this was becoming big was through articles not only in the Daily Mail, but in the Female. And that's how I know what This Morning is, because women were buying out whatever outfit Holly Willoughby is wearing, women would buy it out, so it'd be sold out the next day. So she is clearly a megastar for the female audience, as much as the male audience. But also, I'm kind of baffled by a lot of the articles, you know, I looked them up since lunchtime. A lot of the articles are talking about how, you know, he didn't tell Holly that he was having an affair. And I'm kind of, I'm like, if you're having a fling, do you tell your office bestie? And I think that's where it gets into like a really relatable thing, that people can kind of then start to cast judgment on it because it's relatable. Like you can imagine it in your own office.
Right, okay. But my question to you, Thomas, is if you're not going to bang anyone at work, where are you going to bang them? I mean, like, what are the options, really, in reality?
I can confirm I met my wife at work, and I think my brother met his wife at work, and most people I know met their wives at work.
So this whole thing of, oh my god, it was a relationship at work, how unprofessional, that is bullshit. That's bullshit, number 1. Now, I've lost the thread. What were you saying, Holly Willoughby? Yeah,
so he didn't tell Holly Willoughby.
Right, okay, that's it. So he didn't tell Holly Willoughby, and I heard on the news today that this woman who was some kind of social commentator saying the country's in mourning because we're invested in these characters. The country is not in mourning.
No.
Women are just losing their fucking minds because they think that there is way too much going on here, that he has burned the relationship, you know, he's completely thrown Holly under the bus, and how could he do this to Holly and not tell Holly? Like, it really, he's just fucking someone on the side. Does he need to go around and pull you into the office and say, look, how on earth are you going to tell somebody that? And why would you want to tell them that?
Yeah,
why would the other person want to know, right? Okay.
Was it Morecambe and Wise? I think someone asked them, how come you've had such a brilliant partnership for like so long and you're so close? And they're like, because we never talk to each other outside of work or about anything outside of work.
Okay, so there's that. So people are hung up. The country's not in mourning.
No.
Guys don't give a shit. This is totally women. Okay, now theory number 3. And I'm sorry that I've offended your entire women listenership. Don't worry, I won't be. I only come on the show once a year and about snooker, so don't worry. Theory number 3. Now, because Philip Schofield came out as gay, right? Like, just recently, a few years he's come out as gay, right?
And he's married. He was married with children, right? And then came out as gay.
He's married. He does have children. Yeah, they were all kind of like, well, we understand. You know, it is what it is, and what can you do?
Yeah.
Now, as you've come out and you're newly gay, you're like,
Yeah.
for the last 40 years. So when, like, a 20-year-old starts to look your way and you're like, ooh, hey, and I'm 60, and that must be, for him, the best sex he's ever had. Right? And nobody's asking him this question. Like, he goes, so I know it probably wouldn't fly, like on the BBC, if he ever did an interview for the BBC with me, and I asked him, look, just tell me straight, was it really good?
But this is why we have Channel 4. Get them on Channel 4 and get them to ask these questions.
That's why they need to come onto this podcast, and we'll ask him outright. It must have been, I'm telling you, it must have been the most mind-blowing thing that he's ever done. And now he's like, fucking, I knew I was running the gambit, playing in God's casino, however you want to call it. But that's nuts. That's nuts that he's had that one moment of pure exhilaration. And it's kind of, it's not nihilism, it's the other one. The other fancy
hedonism.
we use. Thank you. It's that. He's gone like a moment of hedonism. It's like, I'm Mr. Straight-Laced, I'm Mr. Family Guy, I'm Mr. Morning Television. The minute I fucking step out of them shoes, that's it. I'm done. And people don't recognize him anymore now.
Okay.
Like the guy that's lied. He's the guy that's just had that moment where he's decided he's going to have that slice of exotic pie. And people can't forgive him for not being the guy that we've been watching him on TV for. Whereas some guys are like, fuck him, go for broke, mate.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm kind of torn on this.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously...
You're torn.
What is it, like the theory of exchange? Well, like if you have something really good, you have to pay for it somehow. So maybe from his point of view, if he had the best few nights of his life, then suddenly he now feels guilt that somehow he has to pay.
I think he is. So he's also come out and said, "Look, this is a hate campaign. If this was a 60-year-old banging a 20-year-old chick, no problemo. But because it's a gay relationship, this is why people are up in arms more so than if it's the other way around." So.
Okay.
He's taken that route. And also, let's just say, for example, in a weird world, that he's now dating this guy, right?
Yeah.
He's now going out with a 20-year-old. How guilty and apologetic would he be then? He's like, what? Jesus Christ, I'm just going to go out with this guy. It's illegal.
Yeah.
I'm a reasonably in-shape 60-year-old. I've got money. I've got power. I'm on fucking TV every day. Why shouldn't I be back? Back in the day, back in the old Hollywood days, that's how it was run, right?
Yeah.
So there's that element going on as well. Now, there's a lot of stuff that could come out potentially from us. So I think people are just... I think they want to come out and say this. I think there's a lot of people that want to come out and defend Philip, but they're just uncertain.
Yeah.
Like if he gets rumbled on something else now, like if there's something else that, God help him if he jumps another queue, then that's it. That's it. You're tied to supporting this guy, and you don't want to go down on that.
That man must be hovering around supermarket checkouts just in case he accidentally gets it wrong.
Exactly. I thought of something else as well. God, Jesus Christ! I've got half an eye on the sat nav because I'm going to miss my turn. But it's interesting though. I think, like I say, it's fascinating. You could be in the know as much as I am about all this because I've listened to it on every news channel. Or you could be like you, Thomas, where you might have just caught a glimpse on a Twitter feed or something, and that's it. Because it does depend where you get your news. Because this is not drones going into buildings in Russia. This is not Biden falling down the ladder. This is, this is kind of still gossip, basically. And but it has stoked the fires. I think it's just got people very, very moved and angry.
Do you think that's part of it? Do you think that's the fact that it's a relatable news story, and that for our personal lives it doesn't matter, right? Like I'm paying the bills just the same.
No.
But it's good to have a silly season.
And also, if you're you're one of these people that thinks that the country's in mourning, then please stop watching so much television. But we watched Philip. We watched him for 15 years. How could he do this to us? I'm like, stop fucking watching so much TV. Stop making these people on TV your heroes. But yeah, I've got to make this turning. Got to make this turning. Hold on a minute. Otherwise, if I don't make this turning, then I'm in Luton.
Oof.
No one really wants to be.
Nobody wants to be in Luton.
Well, saying that, Luton just got promoted.
Oh, of course, yeah, the football. Yeah.
Do you know what? I know you're not into your football much, but that is a great episode for your podcast. Do you know why?
Why?
Because they had one of the oldest stadiums in the UK. It only holds like 10,000 people, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so they have to spend like an extra, I don't know, how many million, right? I'll send you the links. They have to spend how many million to upgrade their stadium so it hits like a minimum capacity of, I don't know, like 30 or 40,000, whatever it is. But they are actually developing a new stadium that's costing them 200 million.
Oh my goodness.
But because that's not going to arrive till like 2025, they've got to spend like X amount of million just to get it up another 20,000. I used to go to, it's called Kenilworth Stadium, and it used to have the old AstroTurf. It was like a really cold, old school football ground. But the fact that they've been promoted to the Premier League now, it's absolutely nuts. But yeah, I'll send you the link, and you should. That is a kind of like another Peter Pan story, but just a slightly less.
There've been a few weird football stories recently, right? The Ryan Reynolds football team went up. Is that Wrexham or?
Wrexham, yeah. So him and his mate backed Wrexham, funded that, and it's just really weird because like Wrexham is it's a reasonably big place, but a bit of a nothing side.
Yeah.
And they threw loads of money at it, but I think like just kind of willed it into existence and willed it into the next division. So they've been promoted as well. I think there's a Netflix series coming on about that.
Well, I think for American listeners, it's the real life Ted Lasso.
That's it. Yeah. That's kind of the comparisons they're making. But so anyway, that's all. Those were some thoughts that I had on.
Yeah.
I think people should just be very careful about how they just go about hating people because it's the thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you can. It's basically bullying, right? It's blind bullying, where you go, look, I can bully this guy because no one's going to call me out and say that I'm wrong because everybody's doing it. Everyone's saying that he's grooming. Everyone's saying that he's a bad man. So I can jump on the bandwagon and I can start peeling the layers off Philip Schofield. But what I'm saying, that is the wrong thing to do. Big time. And people need to be careful with this kind of rhetoric because it just, what is in it for them? What is in it for people to come on and go, Philip Schofield, how could you do this to me? What is it? You're not going to win anything.
Yeah.
The end game for you is to see Philip Schofield completely fucking miserable for the rest of his life or top himself. Now, if that's what the end game is for you, then be careful what you wish for because, he's already talking about it.
Yeah, he did.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I bet your international listeners are going, I think I'll skip the Brooker and Philip Schofield theories from this moment forward.
Well, I was thinking the next part will have to be Anthea Turner, whatever happened to her. Wasn't she kind of the wholesome girl who then kind of rebelled against that on TV,
What? Yeah, Anthea Turner. I think she was a weather girl, wasn't she? Is that how she got her
I think she was Blue Peter? Maybe a children's TV presenter, and then what she did after that, I don't know, I lost track, But
did you know something quietly about Anthea Turner? Is that she kept her looks.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how old she is. Now she must be like in the late 50s, I'm guessing, but she's actually still red hot. But it's nuts that she's not on TV because she's one of these people that really, really looks after herself. Kind of stayed scandal-free, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened to her. I don't know where she went.
Yeah, I think she tried to rebel against kind of the squeaky clean image that she had at the beginning. She didn't want to be a goody two-shoes, as that's how she was being portrayed. And I think she desperately tried to rebel against that. And to be honest, I think not very successfully.
I don't know sounds like you're describing Carol Vorderman. You sure you're not describing Carol?
Oof. Yeah, the lady from Countdown. Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't she have, 5 boyfriends? Is that the current thing?
Yeah. So she's saying that she's not tied down to one guy, that she's got about 6 on the go.
Because that's one thing I did catch, was Carol Vorderman's view on Philip Schofield, and she was like, well, I've been on his show, he's lovely.
Yeah, and that's what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if you wanted to listen to someone say it normally, right, it was Peter Andre. On the GB News this morning, he's like, look, I've been on his show. He's a stand-up guy. What you see is what you get. It's a shame that it's come about like this, where people hear about him having a bad relationship, but he's a stand-up guy. He's really good. And then you switch to Alison Hammond crying on TV, going, and you should just go back to what the Bible says, which is, he without sin cast the first stone. You're just talking words. And empty fucking calories, because women can't compute this shit, whereas guys just go, he's a stand-up guy, and he's banged a 20-year-old. Next story. That is the dividing line. Anyway. I've probably gone over your limit here, both mentally and time-wise. You're coming down to the barbecue, right?
That's right, yeah, I'm going down in, a few weeks, right?
License to grill barbecue.
License to grill.
Quick plug as well. I don't know when you're putting this out. You might want to put it out quick, because the Philip Schofield is a rolling news story. This could all be old news by the time it goes out. But there is a Bond concert happening in London, and I think it's on the 7th of June, and there are tickets that I'm giving away on my Instagram page. So if you go to From Tailors with Love, there are 2 tickets that I'm giving away as part of Red Events. To collaboration. If I turn up, they're going to give me some free drinks in exchange. They're going to give you some tickets. Brilliant. So just head over to my Instagram page, and if you're not in the UK, you can still enter. All you got to do is tag someone in the post or wherever it is, and then you can just give the tickets away to someone that you might know in London. So
brilliant.
Very minimal effort, but a lot of upside. So get on that. Just head over to the Instagram page, and you'll find it. It's a big giveaway on my page there.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So yeah, that's From Tailors with Love, Instagram. Head over, yeah.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to slide into my DMs with any hot Philip Schofield chat, I'm more than willing.
Yeah, so if you've been affected by any of the issues raised in this podcast, you can email me at albionneverdies@gmail.com and I'll forward them on. Thanks very much for joining me.
I can't be classed as sexist or homophobic, because I'm in all camps. With this one.
Absolutely.
Anyway, all right, mate, I'll let you go.
See ya.